In following up on my main segment, which you can see over at timcast.net, I want to highlight the actual statement from Reddit's co-founder. I believe Steve Huffman is the one who wrote this. Yes, I believe so. Where he outright kind of lies. But I also want to point out one of the most ridiculous rules ever created. Why Reddit says you are allowed to engage in horrifying behaviors like harassment, threats, violence, etc., so long as the group you target is in the majority. Now, you know why that's really funny and stupid, Reddit? Because women are in the majority. Come on, do your homework. Now, some may argue, but Tim, globally, men are the majority. No, we're talking about the US. Otherwise, their rule would literally allow you to mock minorities in this country because they're the majority in other countries, or in the world, they're a larger group. It makes very little sense. But I want to read you what he posts, and I want to get to the specific point. The Donald subreddit was banned. This is retroactive enforcement, and it should terrify you. It shows you there are no standards. There's no room for growth. It is the opposite of what we have been hoping for. You see, last year when I talked with Jack Dorsey on the Joe Rogan podcast, I believe he was mentioning some kind of path to redemption. One of the things we had talked about was how banning someone from social media is a death sentence online for one infraction. Let's say you do something, you say something, they ban you. Well, in the real world, when you break the rules, we have a time limit on when you get to come back. Social media doesn't do this. So we were hoping for a path to redemption. Reddit has now basically announced that by banning the Donald, they're engaging in retroactive enforcement, meaning the rules will be applied to you. New rules will be applied to your content from 10 years ago when it was okay. Think about what that means. Let's say 5 years ago, you made a video where you made fun of some political thing. I'm not going to get specific. Today, they say we're banning political thing. Instead of you going, I will delete that video, I understand why you don't like it, or what they should do is they should not give you a strike for it or ban you for it. They should say, we're taking it down. Instead, they say, 5 years ago, you did a thing that we didn't like, banned. This is corporate cancel culture. It's exactly what it is. They go back in time to things you did that were fine back then but aren't fine now and destroy your life over it. Reddit is engaging in corporate level cancel culture. Well, here's what he said. Update to our content policy. We committed to closing the gap between our values and our policies. Oh, shut up, Huffman. You're a liar. You are a total, man, how do you describe these people? Psychotic? Maybe that's not the right word. I understand that they're, egotistical, narcissistic, arrogant despots. People who believe they have the right to wield their power over you without accountability. Evil-ish, I guess. Because we like accountability. If someone does something wrong, we don't like the idea of living under an authoritarian boot. But that's what Huffman is. He's a nasty, nasty guy. Dare I say, amoral, spineless. And not just him. I had good words to say about Jack Dorsey for a long time, but looking at what Twitter's been doing, you know what? I think Jack is full of it, completely full of it. Now, a lot of people think he has more power than he does. I'm not going to get trapped up in that stuff. Let's read the story, or read his post. He says, a quick recap. We brought on a new board member. We held policy calls with mods. We developed an enforcement plan. And now we're lying about what's going on. But here's the new policy. He says, this is the new content policy. Here's what's different. It starts with a statement from our vision for Reddit and our communities, including the basic expectations we have for all communities and users. No. What you're really doing is making sure that regular people who slip up get banned, and companies that operate botnets that put spam comments on content will just figure out how to work around all this, and you will effectively be swimming in a bot field on Reddit. It's a trash website. It's not good for anything anymore. It's just really, really annoying, but people use it. Rule 1 explicitly states that communities and users that promote hate based on identity or vulnerability will be banned. There is an expanded definition of what constitutes a violation of this rule, along with specific examples in our Help Center article. We will pull that one up. Rule 2 ties together our previous rules on prohibited behavior with an ask to abide by community rules and posts with authentic personal interest. Debate with creativity are welcome, but spam and malicious attempts to interfere with other communities are not. The other rules are the same in spirit, but have been rewritten. Okay, here's what he says. All communities on Reddit must abide by our content policy in good faith. We banned the Donald because it has not done so despite every opportunity. The community has consistently hosted and upvoted more rule-breaking content than average, antagonized us and other communities, and its mods have refused to meet our most basic expectations. Until now, we've worked in good faith to help them preserve the community as a space for its users, though through warnings, mod changes, quarantining, and more. And now they've banned it. Here's the issue. The Donald has been inactive for 4 months. No one has been posting anything there. There have been a few approved posters specifically to adhere to their rules. Reddit is lying. Steve, you are an awful, awful, amoral human being. You are just the definition of a whiny, authoritarian, crybaby temper tantrum guy. Temper tantrum guy. That's the best I could come up with. All right. That's what I got for you. But you're a bad dude. You're a bad human being. You think you're better than other people, and this is what you do. You lie to try and justify your actions. Let me tell you something. The Donald, okay? You don't got to like these people. You don't got to like Trump. Let's talk about fairness and the rules. The Donald, in its desperate attempt to make sure it was abiding by all of the rules, literally shut the subreddit down so that only approved posters could actually post. Not only that, one of the subreddits for a major Patreon podcast was a private subreddit. You, Steve, are a liar, but you don't care. You're sitting there in Silicon Valley thinking you're better than everybody else. We get it. We get it. Go tell your friends at YouTube about this video and get them mad at me. I get it. Okay? The point is, this is not true. There is nothing you can do. When they want to ban you, they will ban you. Welcome to how the game is played. The Donald first tried cleaning up the site. They were posting periodic updates saying, this is what's going on. We have these posts flagged. They claim are breaking the rules, and they're not. Seriously, a lot of them weren't breaking the rules. They would give you updates. The Donald moved 4 months ago to thedonald.win. It's a separate website because they predicted this. Let me just make it very, very clear before we move on to the most disgusting thing that Huffman has launched. They literally blocked any posts. There was literally no way to break the rules. So they're enforcing it retroactively. They do not care to give you a chance at redemption. We'll see how this plays out come November. Part of me believes that the constant stomping on of the little guy results in a populist uprising in the other direction. But we'll see. Maybe what they do works. I bring you now to, so this is the article I was going to pull up, right? Here's what they say. Marginalized or vulnerable groups include, but are not limited to, groups based on their actual and perceived race, color, religion, national origin, ethnicity, immigration status, gender identity, orientation, pregnancy, or disability. These includes victims of major violent events and their families. While the rule on hate protects such groups, it does not protect all groups or all forms of identity. For example, the rule does not protect groups of people who are in the majority or who promote such attacks of hate. Some examples of hateful activities that would violate the rule: they say a subreddit community dedicated to mocking people with physical disabilities, post describing a racial minority as subhuman or inferior. Now, I think these things are awful and nasty too. So I got no beef with Reddit wanting to ban a lot of these things, to be honest. I don't like censorship. If a website emerged and said, here's our rules, don't break them, then you joined, I get it. If they start to change their rules and don't give you an opportunity to address this, that's where the big problem starts to arise. Ultimately, however, as much as I don't like these things, I think it's important not to shove things into the dark crevices where people will find ways to communicate and you have no control over them. The best thing you can do is allow these things to exist, but engage in meaningful debate because sunlight is the best disinfectant. He says comments arguing that, wait, hold on. Wait, what? Arguing that women being assaulted should be acceptable. Well, first of all, it shouldn't, but you just said it doesn't protect groups in the majority. Women are the majority of this country. I'm not making that up. Look at this. According to the U.S. Census, 50.8% of the U.S. population is female, and then 49.2% is male. So women are in the majority. So aren't we allowed to mock and belittle the majority? This is your own rule, dude. Think about how stupid this whole thing is. Don't mock and belittle anybody, man. Everybody should chill out. But if you want to have a real debate, we should have a real debate. This is Reddit. This is the future of content, and some people have said it's the corporate sanitizing, because we've also seen Stefan Molyneux as well as many other people banned from Reddit. I'm sorry, from YouTube. And they say it's because that these individuals argued that certain people based on their race were inferior. Well, I completely disagree with those arguments. I think they're completely wrong. I think banning people outright is not it's not going to solve what you think it's going to solve. It's a corporate sanitizing process. They know it'll make the problem worse in the long run because other platforms exist. These people won't just stop existing, okay? But they don't want to be responsible for it. Now, I can respect that they don't want to be responsible for it. But to the people who are arguing about banning this stuff, all you're doing is protecting massive corporations. Look, their rules make no sense. So here's what they say. Your majority groups aren't protected. In what capacity? Globally, women are in the minority, but white people are in the minority globally, right? So that clearly can't be what they mean. So they must mean in the US. Okay, great. They've officially sanctioned the attacks on the majority. Whatever that means. What if there is no majority? What if there's only a plurality? Like how many races are there on the planet? And what? Chinese people make up 20% or so, or a little bit less. So they're not the majority. So there's no majority. What does it even mean? So stupid. I'll leave it there. I got a couple more segments coming up in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.